Late Night Health continues. Our guest is the herbal pharmacist, Dave Foreman. By the way, in hour 2, as we wrap up our show, we're going to be talking about ED and male incontinence. Really, male incontinence is a problem, especially for those who have had prostate cancer and have had their prostate removed. We'll be talking about that. But it's not necessarily just for those who've had prostate cancer. We'll find out more about that and more about edcure.org in hour number 2. Okay, Dave, as we're talking about carbs have gotten a bad rap or a clean rap? I get confused so easily. Are they good now or are they bad?
I think most people are confused. Like I said, 30% of the country doesn't even understand what a carb is, and, like you and I were talking about before the break, things like asparagus, nuts and seeds, those are healthy carbs, the things that are, more high in fiber. But if you think of if you want to figure out like what carbs are bad for you, it's usually the foods that have been processed. So things like, pasta, so bread dough or bread itself, or pasta, or rice, especially white rice.
White rice.
I mean,
what about the brown rice? What about the brown or the jasmine rice, the purple rice now too?
Well, the purple rice and brown rice are definitely healthier alternatives to white rice. White rice, by far, and even jasmine is stripped of its fiber. So, the white ones are really just not, the healthy versions for you. And, I remember years ago, being taught it was the white foods that we should avoid.
Right.
And so, and then I always get the smart aleck, person in my seminars going, well, what about cauliflower, or whatever. And I'm like,
I like cauliflower.
I'm like, you're a jerk for saying that. But it makes sense. So, here's the thing, Mark, I try to get people not to eat those, the starchy, sugary foods. But the reality is we're going to eat them for many reasons. One, they taste good. Two, they don't cost a lot. Three, they're easy to prepare. Or heck, you can go out and pick up a pizza. You can walk in and pick up a pizza. You can have it delivered. Pasta takes, depending on what you're making, 7 to 11 minutes. So I've got some tips today on how to, if you're going to consume those foods, how to maybe prepare them or eat them, or even a supplement to take with them to help negate the calorie effect that you're going to get from those types of foods. So I've got quick tips to help people go, you know what, if I'm going out or we don't have time and we're going to have pizza, this is what you can do. And so on. So if you want to get into them,
yeah, I do. I just out of curiosity, eating the white carbs, the breads, the pastas, you get a sugar spike because the carb breaks down into sugar. Am I correct?
Yeah. So anytime we eat a starch, immediately in your mouth there's an enzyme that gets released called amylase. Amylase is what your body uses to break starches down into sugar. And the process is pretty simple, and it happens really quick. And so anything we can do to inhibit or block the ability of our body from being able to break down that starch is the goal. The goal is either to inhibit that enzyme from attaching to the starch and breaking it down, and that would be a supplement that I use. It's a white kidney bean extract called Phase 2. I can get more into that in a second. And then the other objective maybe would to be make our starches resistant to digestion. And a lot of that has to do with either how you eat them or how you prepare them. For me, I don't want to have to think about how to prepare and how to eat the food. Like, if you eat cold pasta, cold pizza, it's going to have a lower caloric effect because the starch becomes resistant again when it cools down. Same thing with rice. But I don't want to eat cold pizza and pasta. I'd rather eat it blazing hot, And so,
see, I like cold pizza the day after, but I can't.
Know you had a couple of wires touching.
Yeah, exactly. but cold pasta doesn't do anything for me. I'm not a big pasta guy anyway. I didn't used to be a carb guy. All right, so in this segment, let's talk quickly. Give me 2 or 3 quick tips on how to get rid of those carbs if I'm eating the bad stuff.
All right, so I kind of just said real quick on the pizza pasta thing is, basically you have two choices. You can try to eat it cold. You're going to negate some of the caloric effect, but for me, I use the white kidney bean extract called Phase 2. It's a starch blocker. That's the name of the ingredient. So, you go to your local GNC or even probably Walmart or Vitamin Shop or, I personally use one by Natrol, but it's the name of the ingredient you can get, and you take it before a meal that has starches in it, and it'll block 65% of that from being broken down. So I hear the break coming up, so I'll let you go. How about that? And I'll finish later.
We'll finish in just a couple of minutes. We're going to hold our buddy around for another 14 minutes here and talk more about this. And we're going to get into a little bit of fat. We're going to bring in Josh Lane in a minute as well as Late Night Health continues. Don't go away. More coming up with Dave Foreman, the Herbal Pharmacist. Be sure to join us at latenighthealth.com, latenighthealth.com.
The show continues in a moment.